In today's Flesh and Blood video, I want to talk blocks. Not blocking itself, but rather blocks the card type. Because I've been really impressed with how LSS has been pushing the design space on the block card type in the recent sets. And I see this as being a huge space for future innovation. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my Flesh and Blood friends, and welcome to the channel. Now, as you can see, I have my fanboy hat on today because I am singing the praise of LSS around what they've been doing with the block card type. With the simultaneous releases of Bright Lights and Round the Table came the introduction of the block card type. While originally pretty vanilla and on a power curve similar to that of defense reactions, in the years since we've seen a fair amount of growth and development in this space. A card like Test of Strength, for example, was really important to archetypes and heavy hitters and a crucial piece in limited play. And with High Seas, we've seen the bar raised even farther, and I fully expect it to continue in that regard. While conceptually simple, the concept of the block card type has proven to be a particularly deep design space. As we get started, let me know in the comments what you think of block cards, and hey, while you're at it, toss us a card idea or two. Now, the core brilliance of blocks lies in their inherent duality. They are simultaneously strong defensive tools and potential liabilities. Aside from pitching, the only thing block cards can do is block a physical attack. Block cards do not have a cost, and as such, cannot be played. They act just like any other card in your hand when it comes to defending against an attack, meaning that during the defense step, and only during the defense step, it can be declared along with any other blocking cards to defend against an attack. You'll note this is why block cards say when this defends to start their effect text. Without that important piece of text, it would be ignored just as any ability on a non-permanent card while defending. So while in most cases blocks are on or even above the defense reaction power curve, blocks do suffer significant downside risk as compared to defense reactions. The most obvious of which is the fact that block cards cannot be played, meaning that, unless they have the ambush keyword, they are unable to defend from arsenal. Thus, effectively, blocks cannot be arsenaled, right? Now, from a purely technical standpoint, they actually can be arsenaled, but this is a very, very bad idea because there's no natural way then to get it out. Because remember, you can only play from arsenal, and blocks, by definition, cannot be played. As such, block cards can, in some situations, represent an IP1 penalty of sorts. They are powerful and often above-rate blocking cards, but that is really all they do. And in the case where you cannot defend or don't want to, there's no way to store the card outside of your hand. Yes, to this end they do pitch, but often inefficiently, which is why it tracks that a lot of the design space has been in blue pitch cards. And it's in this inherent disadvantage that has led to a lot of the development space on block cards since their introduction. It's become clear that, by and large, block cards are really pretty safe when it comes to pushing the envelope. One positive note about blocks, as compared to their defense reaction counterparts, is the immunity of sorts to the command and conquer type effect. It's a slight bonus to be sure, but it is worth mentioning in fairness. Now, I mentioned earlier the ambush keyword, which was interestingly on one of the original blocks, but not seen since. Tiger Eye Reflex from Round the Table is a fascinating iteration on the arsenal issue. Tiger Eye Reflex is a ninja class block card, offering 3 defense as a yellow, and does not, yet at least, exist in red. On defense, it creates a crouching tiger in your banish zone, which can be played on the following turn. This effectively turns a defensive play into a springboard for offense, generating additional value, assuming of course it works with your draw. However, the truly valuable thing about Tiger Eye Reflex is that it skirts around much of the block drawback, in that it can be safely arsenaled. Carrying the ambush keyword, it allows Tiger Eye Reflex to defend from arsenal, eliminating the dead draw risk, and allowing it to be saved for when it can be best utilized. Do keep in mind, though, that the timing still matters. Despite being able to defend from arsenal, it still has to be in the defense step. Ambush does not allow a block to act as a D-react for this purpose. So while no, it's not one-to-one, getting around much of the block drawback while also getting around the CNC D-react immunity is very powerful. And that's why I believe we haven't seen this on any of their blocks thus far, and why I don't believe we'll see many more blocks with the ambush keyword going forward. At least not if they are on the 4 red, 3 yellow, 2 blue curve, while also applying an effect. Now, in reference to the power curve, when I said earlier in this video that blocks largely follow the defense reaction pitch to power curve, that was actually only partly true. While block reds and yellows have been on that curve, we have consistently seen that blues can block 3, even while still having very valuable effects. As such, this is but one place where it's clear that there's a lot of room to run within block card design. While natural defend 5s on a red probably won't be a thing, at least for a while, the movement on blue blocks has shown there's a lot of room for increased on-block effect power within the block space, which we are starting to see manifest even on red blocks. Perhaps the most exciting block to this regard that we've seen thus far is Return Fire, a Ranger block card from High Seas. A red 4 block, it offers a potentially impactful ability. When Return Fire defends, you may banish an arrow from your hand. If you do, at the start of your next turn, put it, being the arrow, face up into your arsenal, and it gets +3 until end of turn. This ability is obviously insane, blocking 4 off a single card while simultaneously prepping a buffed arrow for the next turn, turning a purely defensive move into a tempo play. Pretty crazy good, when it works, of course. On top of that, consider that the arrow being banished becomes protected from hand disruption effects, having been banished during defense and well before hit, and again, that's super good. But as crazy as Return Fire can be, of course in line with the block mechanic, potential drawbacks. Aside from the normal disadvantages of block cards, Return Fire also requires the arsenal to have an open slot, either empty or a face-up card with New Horizons. And when you consider that in most cases you can't control what you're drawing in terms of a full hand, it's quite easy to find a situation in which you're not able to banish and realize the full value. Because obviously, not being able to put Return Fire into Arsenal, again, you can, it's just a really bad idea. But not being able to store Return Fire for the right timing is a potential downside. Quite clearly, if this ability was on a D-React, it would be so busted, and hence why I am really excited about the design space that LSS is able to explore here. Blocks have already come quite a way since their debut in the Bright Lights era, and with each one they print where they push power, we still find them to not be busted within the confines of Flesh and Blood. The closest we've come to busted thus far is Unforgiving Unforgetting, but as a spec, we will give it some leeway. And yes, Return Fire is certainly one worth watching for sure. But it's pretty clear that blocks are pretty safe, and there is a lot of room to explore within the card type. The addition of blocks within Flesh and Blood represents a masterful design decision. They are far more than simply numbers on a card. They are actually push-pull design choices that balance risk, utility, and value, and I believe they offer a wealth of design possibilities. I'd love to know what your thoughts on block cards are, and heck, even throw some card ideas below, because hey, you never know who's gonna read it. The possibilities around block card design space are vast, allowing a lot of room for design within a relatively safe space, and honestly, it's a pretty exciting design space going forward. Pretty cool stuff in my opinion, but let's see what happens going forward. Go Commando, my friends.